Sawadee from Isan. I wanted to do a video this morning about the incredible effort that's made by the farm to grow long beans. In the West we take these sort of things for granted, and I'm sure that there are more efficient ways to grow crops than is done here. On the farm it tends to be very labour intensive because there's no great value given to the number of hours put in to create an income. The important part is the end result, being the money, and there's no sort of balance sheet kept in anyone's head or on paper about the cost, in effect the labour cost of doing that. This is an ex-paddy field, and that's how it's left, because I wanted to show you this one before showing you the long bean field that's been prepared, so you can do a comparison. This little arrangement at the front is to attract crickets at night time. There's a speaker and infrared light or UV light, and the sound is played through an amplifier here and a memory stick, and it attracts crickets from the area, and they fly towards the sound, see the light, and then fall into that hole there, and are collected the next morning and then either sold at the market or eaten. These are some of the uprights that are used instead of netting to support the long bean vines. For those of you who don't know long beans, it's a sort of creeper crop that needs supporting. Each year Ewan and Lud cut these by hand. These are left over from last year, but they don't last long, so they rot. So some will be used again, but others need replacing. So Ewan and Lud head out to a neighbouring farm where these sort of saplings grow in bulk, and for free they are able to cut new supplies each year. So once again, something that we would take for granted, you just buy from a shop, here is actual labour to make it happen. I did think that they were going to be using netting rather than these this year, but evidently not. So tradition plays its part as always. So this is the long bean field that's being prepared at the moment. It originally looked like the beginning of this video. What they had to do was individually cut the rice straw, which is stored and used for mulch. They then ploughed the field twice. They had to remove all the root clumps for the rice, because rice was planted in a clump form, so it grows a root system and it's a tight ball. So when you plough the field, you have to remove all of those, and there would be I don't know, 1,000 or more of them. So between cutting the straw by hand and removing the rice balls, even before you get to forming the rows, which is the next step, there's a huge amount of work. The rows are then formed, so they use the iron buffalo to form it roughly, the tiller to improve the soil, make it more fine, and then the rows are actually formed by hand. The black plastic goes out next, which is to stop weeds. The plastic, the uprights go in that you see happening here, which will hold the framework that you see at the front, and that'll be extended everywhere obviously. The holes in the plastic are cut by hand. Ewan does that with scissors. There's rice husk added to each hole, and then the plastic is tied down or secured by these little bamboo strips, which are made by hand. So once again, in a Western society we would just go out to some shop and buy something that would do this. Here Ewan actually sits down with a piece of bamboo and cuts it into smaller and smaller pieces until she gets something that can be used to tie down this plastic. The same goes with tying the support here. This again is bamboo, and it's produced, Mama actually does this, produced by taking a large piece, full piece of bamboo, and then cutting it down using a machete into smaller and smaller pieces until it is able to be used to secure the top of these supports. So the supports themselves, that's what I was talking about before, they will go right the way across this area. And finally the long bean seeds themselves, which I ordered on Lazada this time, they will be planted individually into these holes and will grow up the supports and be available for planting. So if you take all of that together and you look at this area, it doesn't seem much, but gee, it's an immense amount of work. And as always, full marks to these guys, not only for doing that, but you can see the meticulous presentation of what they do. It's not just about good enough to get the job done. With Yun and Lud, there's this whole obsession with making it look good, and that, I can tell you, that is almost unique in Thai farming. This is an amazing place, which is why I just absolutely adore it and spend so much time reporting on it. So there's today's update, something a bit different. Great to chat to you. All the best. Sawadee Ka.